Today we're going to be looking at my modified Blues Jr. As you recall, in one of my previous videos, I took a standard Blues Jr. and modified it to fit into a new cabinet that is fitted with two 12-inch speakers. So I wanted to give you the rundown on that modification and look at how easy it is and what you need to do to be able to get a big, fuller sound out of a standard Blues Jr. Here we have the original Blues Jr. cabinet that came with the amplifier basically when I bought it. And as you can see, Fender uses a very small cabinet, and the reason they do that, I guess, is portability, which is great. Everybody likes to have a small portable amp that they can carry to a gig without breaking their backs or getting hurt, right? Or having to require a roadie. That's the good part of you know, these little cabinets. The bad part of these cabinets is this. So first of all, the cabinet is not made of good quality wood. I believe it's looks like a press wood to me, which is not necessarily a good resonance type of wood to use, but you know, that's not really that major. A lot of cabinets are being made out of press wood to be able to save costs. The big disadvantage I feel with the original Blues Jr. cabinet is the size is very stifling to the sound. So what ends up happening is that you don't really get the full vibrance and oomph, for lack of a better word, of the potential of this amplifier. The speaker that they put in here is a special design speaker made specifically for Fender. I'm not sure what kind of speaker it is originally or who makes it, but the speaker is very lacking in any kind of punch and detail. It really feels closed. And when you listen to this speaker as opposed to what's in there now, you'll see that there's a big difference in tone. It feels like, you know, boxy and amoebic compared to what you can actually get from this amplifier. The other thing, and I don't know if you can see that clearly here, is the reverb tank that they use. It's very small. The reason for that, I guess, is also because it has to fit within the case, but I'm pretty sure they could have fit a larger reverb tank in here if they wanted to. So maybe it's a question of cost. I'm not really sure. So these three features, the reverb tank, the size and material of the cabinet, and the speaker, really is the Achilles heel of this amplifier, because the Blues Jr. is a good amplifier. It really has a lot of flexibility, and it can give you some really nice Fender cleans, and it can also give you some really good punch. It takes pedals well as well. So for the price, brand new, I think these particular amplifiers are selling for about $700 if I'm not mistaken, which is not cheap for a small amplifier like this, but you can really take that a little bit further if you shop used. I like to buy used gear because it's like buying a car. You know, you let someone else pay the premium for it, and then, you know, you can easily save sometimes 40, even 50%. I think I traded something for this particular amplifier and it didn't cost me anything. So the big difference with the new cabinet that I had made for this mod is that it looks great. It's tweed, really nice cabinet, by the way. I purchased this cabinet on eBay through a seller there, and he makes some really nice, good quality, well-constructed cabinets, and I'm very pleased with the cabinet that I got here. Everything's really good. The Tolex was installed flawlessly. The only thing that I had to do myself was to actually drill some pilot holes to be able to hold the chassis, because the two pilot holes on top were not pre-drilled, which is no big deal. It's easy to do. So besides the look of the cabinet, the material of the cabinet is also quite stunning, because The tweed is great quality. The handle that was installed according to my specs. Basically, I wanted a handle in there that was kind of like a Mesa handle from the Mesa Boogie amplifiers, and not the rubber that Fender uses. Not that the rubber is bad, I just prefer the look of the leather handle. The brown leather handle is quite attractive, so I wanted to go with that. So the look is one aspect of this mod, obviously. It's got to look great. The material that's used in this cabinet, unlike the stock Fender Blues Jr, is this cabinet is made entirely of pine. And pine is a really resonant material, and a lot of good quality cabinets are made of pine. Some of them are made of plywood, but the older ones were typically made of pine. And pine tends to vibrate a lot more easily, and you really do hear the tonal difference with the pine construction. So that's the other aspect. Now, what I did here is instead of buying two brand new speakers, I took the speakers that I originally had in my Voltex cabinet and put them in here. I didn't want to go out and spend more money on additional speakers just yet. I wanted to see what the speakers I already had sounded like. And I'll show you the speakers in a minute. I'll flip the cabinet around. But I just wanted to say that the speakers are different. On the right and the left speaker are not the same. And I just wanted to do that to get a better mix in terms of tonal spectrum, and try and get something that would give me the smoothness that I was looking for, but at the same time be able to give me a little bit of punch. So the cabinet modification, the reason I decided to do this is because a lot of people are actually doing hard mods, and what I mean by hard mods is they're modifying the actual circuitry within the unit, within the chassis, on the motherboard. You can do that. There's a lot of people giving that as an option online, that you can buy these mod kits and you can do them yourself, or you can have them modded. The disadvantage with doing that is that you're permanently modifying the circuit. You're definitely going to void your warranty on it, and if you decide to do it yourself and you're not practiced at doing these kinds of mods, you can pretty much fry your amplifier, and then you're stuck with a pretty expensive doorstop. So before trying stuff like that, I really wanted to go the route where I could modify it and return to the stock layout if I wanted to, so that in case I wanted to sell it, let's say tomorrow I decide, you know what, I have another amplifier I prefer more and I'm not playing this one as much, so I want to sell it. I can easily take everything back out of this, put it back into the original Fender cabinet and sell it. And I haven't made any mods that would modify the warranty or anything like that. So that's one aspect of doing this type of a mod. So the other aspect is, if you're doing a hard mod and you don't like it at the end of it, because sometimes you can't really tell what you're going to get, you're stuck with it. Unless you want to keep on working on your cabinet, on the circuitry. The problem with that is every time you send it in, obviously it's going to be more expensive, and again, you might not like what you end up with. So there's that as well. The other advantage with this type of mod is that you can modify the speakers. You can change the different types of speakers that you have in there to your liking. And if you ask me, I think one of the biggest noticeable modifications that you can make with an amplifier will be the speakers. You can get a lot more mileage, let's say, out of modifying your speakers, and it's also less costly. I mean, today you can get speakers used pretty inexpensively. So let's take a look at the back of this cabinet, and I'm going to show you what's inside and what else I did here. So give me a second, I'll flip it around and we'll continue. So welcome back. This is the back view of the cabinet, and I just wanted to show you what we have here. I didn't necessarily want to open up the cabinet completely because I don't want to have the chassis and the electronics exposed, but basically you can do that just by removing these 4 screws. This back panel will pop off, and your chassis with all the wiring will be exposed. So if ever you want to work on it, it's quite easy to do. The tubes you can see here within this cutout, and it's an open back cabinet. And if you wanted to have it a closed back, you can even have them make you an additional little piece that slides in there to have a closed back. But I like the airiness of an open back cabinet. So the chassis that came stock with the Fender Blues Jr that I got fits right in. The top notch, the cutout here was cut out specifically to that size, so there's no modifications that need to be done. As I said earlier, all I had to do was drill 2 pilot holes to put in the screws to hold the chassis on the top most end of the cabinet, which is pretty basic and easy to do. The tubes are exposed, as I said, and they have the tube tamer, which is which I pulled off of the standard issue Blues Jr. There's nothing really protecting the tubes here. Fender uses a cage, and I can show you that here. So if you take off the back panel of your Fender Blues Jr, you have this cage here, which is basically just designed to protect the tubes, and you can pull this off. It's just held in place by 2 screws, and you can put it there if you wanted to, but honestly I don't think I really need it. I don't usually take this cabinet out of the house too often, so and even at that, you really have to poke hard at the tubes to be able to damage them, so I don't think it's really necessary. But in any case, I have it. If I wanted to change that and put it in, I will in the future. The other thing is Fender uses this, I guess, fireproof aluminum tape on the back of the panel here to protect it, so if the tubes warm up, they don't necessarily catch anything on fire. This one doesn't have it yet, but I will get some and put it in there just to be on the safe side, because I don't want anything to happen. So the cabinet here is fitted with 2 Guitar Warehouse speakers, and I did a review on those speakers in another video, so if you want to check that out, you can. Basically, it's a Retro 30 12-inch and an ET65 12-inch speaker that I put in here. And the speakers are really a great match, I find, for this particular cabinet, because it does give you the fullness that you're looking for, a little bit of aggressiveness, but you don't lose the nice sparkle, the Fender kind of clean that I really like with the Blues Jr. The other thing, and you probably can't see it, but I'll take a shot of it for you so you can see it a little bit clearer, is I did change the spring reverb in here, and I bought a mod spring reverb that you can get online, and it's a longer spring reverb. It's basically pretty long, actually. It's, I think, 16 inches, if I'm not mistaken. A lot bigger, longer than the original spring reverb that was in the Fender Blues Jr. So you really get a nice lush Fender spring sound out of it, but it doesn't become too exaggerated, because sometimes that's what ends up happening and you can't really use a spring reverb higher than 2 or 3. This one is smooth and I really like it, and I'll take a shot of that for you so that you can see that. So overall, I'm quite pleased with the modification, and I will be putting some sound clips for you so you can hear the difference. Basically, I'll use the amp to play some clean tones, and I'll also put it through some pedals, and you'll see how well it takes the pedals. Overall, the Blues Jr is a very good amplifier. I was actually not even aware really of the quality of that particular amp, because I always simply passed by it in the stores because of its size. It looked like a toy, and if it wasn't a cabinet like this, with some tweed 212s, that I wouldn't have overlooked, that's for sure. But the standard issue is kind of a little bit, it's almost like the wallflower at a sock hop. You don't really notice it at first. So if you have the money and you have a Blues Jr lying around that you're maybe considering selling, I would highly recommend doing a mod like this, because honestly I think you're going to get a lot more enjoyable tones out of that particular mod without necessarily being stuck with it. If I don't like this mod tomorrow, I can just take everything out, put it back into the original cabinet, sell this cabinet very easily. A tweed cabinet like this is pretty sought after. Everybody wants to have a nice clean tweed cabinet to use, so there's a lot of buyers for that. And you know, the speakers, I can easily put them back into my 212 cabinet and do something else with them. So it's not really anything that you're jeopardizing being stuck with. So by all means, if you're not happy or not pleased with your Blues Jr the way it is right now, don't hesitate to modify the speakers, cabinet, and reverb tank. I think you're going to be quite pleased with the results, and you might actually discover that you don't need another amplifier and this one is it. I really enjoy this amplifier. It's not the only one I have. I do have a Marshall, and actually just bought a Supro as well. So, but this fits in nicely with the other two. It's kind of like, this is, you know, the Fender clean, Fender sparkly tones that people are after. It comes from this particular amplifier. The Marshall is sort of the other end of the spectrum. It does give you the clean, but it gives you the aggressiveness as well. And the Supro is kind of in between. A great little amplifier, by the way, that I will review in another video. But this is all I really wanted to say about this modification. If you have any questions about this mod and where I got the reverb tank, where I got the cabinet, or what kind of speakers would work well, please don't hesitate to send me your messages below. Give me your comments. I take the time to answer the comments as much as I can, and I'm always happy to hear from you and to be able to offer some advice if I can. The other thing I wanted to remind everybody to do is to subscribe to my channel. I'm really getting some nice traction from all of you, and I really appreciate the dedicated subscribers that watch a lot of my videos and keep coming back and giving me some nice comments. I also wanted to say something. This month I'm starting something new, and once a month I'm going to be giving away a gift, basically, from one of our sponsors. And this month it's this little guy, which is the Donner Morpher pedal that I reviewed in one of my other videos. And this was kindly offered to us by Donner to review, and they're one of our sponsors of our videos. So I'm passing it on and I'm playing it forward. I'm not keeping the devices. I'm basically going to be giving them to a lucky subscriber. So starting today, if you subscribe to my channel, I'm going to be compiling a list of all the subscribers from this point forward till for the entire month, and then you're going to be notified of the winner, and one lucky viewer is going to get the Donner Morpher pedal, which is a great pedal, by the way. It's very interesting, very flexible, and you can see the video of this pedal on my other videos if you're interested in hearing it. So don't miss up an opportunity to win something for free just by viewing and subscribing if you haven't already done so. Do that today and you'll be automatically entered in the draw. I appreciate your viewing, and please keep on watching our videos. There's a lot of great things coming your way, and this is just the beginning of a lot more very interesting reviews, guitars, pedals, amplifiers, mods, playing tips, and a lot more. So stay tuned.